Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Megan and welcome to my life. This is a channel where I clean my house over and over and over again, and the thing that is different is often what I'm talking about and my thoughts, but the house, it's usually pretty much the same. It's always going to be a little bit of a mess, always going to be a little bit chaotic, so just come along with me as I tidy it up and get it together and reflect on a lot of thoughts that have been going on over the last couple weeks. So, the biggest thought that I wanted to reflect on is the idea that sharing a normal life, quote unquote normal life, or a messy life, if you will,
is not safe, intoxicating, dangerous
to other people who have messy lives. I have been really noodling on this topic for a very long time. Well, in YouTube land, it's a very long time, probably about 2 or 3 weeks, because millennial ease, not millennial ease, I'm millennial Meg, minimal ease, Becky at Minimal Ease put out a video a few weeks ago that was basically asserting the idea that normalizing messy or normalizing clutter is dangerous, it's unacceptable, it's not okay, and that if people who are overwhelmed and anxious and depressed get a hold of that kind of content, that they will just use it to justify their situation and they'll never get better. So I don't know. I've tried to record different reactions to that over the last couple weeks. I've recorded probably 3 or 4 times. I've taken a few different approaches, a couple of different angles, and I think what I'm going to do is not really talk about minimal ease because she's allowed to have her opinions, and I'm allowed to have mine. So I'm not going to focus on her. I'm just going to focus on my take on it. Excuse me, I have allergies. I'm sorry that I'm always sniffling in your ear. I have horrific allergies and I live in the Midwest, which is a horrible recipe and combination because I am constantly just not doing well, even though I take medication. So, anyway, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about mental health and clutter and the chicken or the egg, right? Which comes first. We're also going to chat about medication and mental health. We're going to talk about anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants. Also, we'll get into a little bit of like the ADHD stuff as well, because I think this video is probably going to end up being about 34-ish, 35 minutes. Minimal Ease's video was about 11 minutes, and it was just a real quick and easy flyby, like, here's my opinion on clutter. I don't think you should be cluttered, and minimalism saved my mental health and my life. So if you don't become a minimalist, then your mental health is going to suck. I mean, whatever. She said it a little more eloquently than that, but that was pretty much it. She was equating clutter and overconsumption and social media, praising that as being sort of the cause of a lot of people's mental health issues, especially like anxiety and feeling overwhelmed. And she was, I think, pretty much oversimplifying the solution to anxiety and overwhelm by saying that because becoming a minimalist fixed her situation and helped her feel better, that that everybody should just do that. So that's where we're going. Also, this is probably the least flattering angle I could have possibly used to film myself. I have gained all of the weight back that I lost back in the fall and winter of the end of last year. And you can see it. I have regained my chins. So here you go. But I didn't have my regular tripod, so this is what you get. You're welcome. All right. So, which came first, the anxiety or the clutter? I would argue that for me, I believe that I am mentally unwell at my baseline. However, that being said, I did grow up in chaos and clutter in my own home as a child. When my mom was staying at home with us full time, I don't think there was a lot of clutter and chaos. I think it was pretty tidy because my mom was home all the time and we were her focus. She was able to, maintain order and function in the home. And I think that was fine. But when she went back to work, and my grandfather was the one, my dad's dad was the one who was at home most of the time with my brother and myself. Um, things things got bad. Things got bad. He was definitely competent in terms of like taking us to school on time, getting me to my ballet classes. He would make dinner. He would make sure we had what we needed. Uh, but in terms of like an adult helping to guide me with keeping my room tidy or um, having any sort of rules, like, hey, maybe we don't eat in our room. We're not going to take dishes and bowls and cups in our room to, to get lost and get moldy. There wasn't really anybody there to teach us that. My mom was working wild hours all the time. My dad was working wild hours. He owned a business and then he ended up working at a car dealership. Like, there was just a lot going on. So there wasn't a lot of guidance. I spent a lot of time in my room reading books, Babysitter's Club, shout out. And that was pretty much it. I would just hang out in my room and I would just kind of wallow in my mess. I never really hung up my clothes. I never put things away. This was kind of like like pre-adolescent, like tween years, maybe like 9, 10, 11, I would say. And then all through, yeah, my teenage years, it was kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, I did my own laundry, but I didn't really like focus too much on keeping a tidy space. And also, our dining room table, my whole life was always um, like just full of my dad's paperwork and documents and all kinds of stuff that did not have anything to do with eating dinner. I remember, like, maybe twice a year, right, for like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or birthday dinners, we would just sort of like sweep everything off of the table into a big box um, to make room for dinner. And then that was kind of it. So I guess I don't really have a firm answer whether like the clutter came first or my poor mental health came first because they've always sort of been intertwined, I suppose. And then when I lived alone by myself as a young adult in college and beyond, I continued to have um, messy personal spaces um, that I didn't really care that much about. Like I would either spend time alone by myself in my apartment or I would be out with other people. There was not any like entertaining of others in my home. Same thing with my car my whole life. I did not do a lot of like driving other people around. Like I kept my car pretty chaotic. So I think for me, I was disrupted mentally, emotionally, right? And my environment was a reflection of that chaos. That would be my argument. And I don't think any amount of like cleaning it all out and starting fresh really was helping me um, to change that situation. Like there would be times when my grandfather would get totally frustrated with my mess when I was a kid, and he would just come in and clear everything out. like do all my laundry, put everything away, um, clear out all of the dishes, clear out all the mess. And I would be grateful, like, of course, who doesn't want to be in a clean, tidy environment? I loved it. But I didn't have the skills, first of all. I didn't have the skills or the practice, right? I hadn't built up muscles to keep things clean and tidy. And then also, I think I still, like, it didn't fix the underlying issue. It didn't fix my internal chaos. It didn't fix my my poor self-esteem or my lack of um, meaningful connections with important people. You know what I mean? So just fixing the clutter temporarily was not really fixing me or my mental health. The same thing's true with my car. I cannot tell you how many times I have like gotten really disgusted with myself and cleaned out my car over the course of my life. Or like usually what will happen is, oh, I know that I'm going to be carpooling with someone, or I know that I'm going to have to give someone a ride. Or right before my daughter was born, it was like, oh no, I'm going to have a child in this car. Like, I really need to pull this together. Like, I knew this on a logical level, right? And so before my daughter was born, I cleaned everything out of the car, took literally every single thing out of the car, went and got it detailed and cleaned, and it was pristine and beautiful. And I've done this a few times over the course of my life where I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm going to clean it all out and I'm going to get it, perfect. And I'm going to put a trash bag in there and everything's going to be great. And because I am still mentally unwell, and have poor self-esteem, I don't know. Like it goes back to how it always has been, right? So I think for me, when I think about the relationship between minimalism and decluttering and people with mental health issues, right? Anxiety, depression, those are kind of the big ones, or any other, whatever mental health concerns. I think about it as the symptom of those mental health conditions is the clutter, right? Clutter is the symptom. Clutter is the outward expression of the inner turmoil, okay? Or how you feel about yourself. And so over this past year and a little bit that I have been actively working on tidying and decluttering my home here on YouTube, during this time, things have gotten better. I think things have become demonstrably improved. The amount of time that it takes to clean and tidy is less. You will see here, right? Like this cabinet, I had let get sort of out of control. It's kind of like my snack station for when I make lunches for the kids. And so typically I would have just ignored that. And now I'm in a place where I don't ignore it. Like I take the extra 5 minutes to kind of do a reset. Same thing here. Normally, I don't really bother with cleaning up the stove, but now it's like, oh, okay, the stove is a little bad, so I'm going to do some spot cleaning right now and get it under control so that it doesn't get horrific, right? My daughter's room is another great example you'll see later. I still definitely want to pare down her toys and get rid of a lot of things. But her room is in a situation now where it literally takes maybe 5 minutes um, to just kind of grab everything and toss it where it belongs, like in the different bins that I have or on the shelves. So in that way, I have improved, right? Because I've made a very conscious effort um, that this is important to me and that it matters. And in that way, I'm telling myself my mental health matters. I matter. Um, and so it's really sort of this hand in hand thing, right? Like mental health and clutter do go hand in hand. But it's not as simple as just getting rid of everything. It is not as simple as just tossing everything out and never looking at it again, and then it never gets cluttered again. Okay. You can talk about like hoarding disorder, right? When and I'm not looking at the actual like definition right now, the clinical definition or criteria, but from what I understand about hoarding, it is really impossible to approach someone with hoarding disorder and just come into their home, clean everything out, throw it all in a dumpster, and then give the person a nice, tidy home and expect it to just be that way forever. Okay. Those individuals, 99% of the time, again, I'm just pulling that out of my butt, but that I believe there is a very, very high percentage, if I actually had the energy to look up a statistic, I believe it is a very high percentage of people with hoarding disorder. If you were to clean out their environment or move them to a whole different environment, move them into an assisted living facility, move them into a new apartment, whatever, if their house gets condemned or whatever, there is a very high chance that they are going to re-hoard and basically get themselves almost exactly where they were. Okay. You can't just become a minimalist, right? In name or in by getting rid of things and then expect that your mental health will magically be resolved. I do not believe that. And I will say one thing I took issue with Becky with Minimalise was that she said that she believed that if you were to watch all of these like normalizing clutter, normalizing normal videos, that you may fall into a trap where you believe that, oh, maybe my house isn't the problem. Maybe I should just go get on some medication to feel better.
Maybe I'm not doing so bad. Maybe this anxiety and overwhelm and stress, maybe it's not my house. Maybe it's something else. Maybe I just need to get some medicine to take care of all this anxiety. It's not my home.
I feel like that was the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay, maybe not the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life, but it was pretty insulting. And it was kind of just this like little catchy, like whatever casual throwaway comment that she didn't really think about. I don't think. I don't think she meant anything by it. But I think that that comment is actually dangerous and actually offensive. Um, Way more so than any, Emily Ferret video of like, hey, let's normalize normal and look at my chaos.
You guys love these. I like to normalize being normal, life without the filters.
Um, you know, the idea that if you just could get off your ass and clean your house, then you wouldn't need mental health medication. That is wild to me. That is a wild, wild assertion that is so wrong and inappropriate. Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to refer to her like specifically, but I just wanted to share that opinion as well. Like, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, cleaning your house or doing what I have done here, right? Like making a concerted effort over a long period of time to reduce the clutter, to reduce the chaos, to make sure that you're resetting your home, at least weekly, right? If you're somebody like me who is doing these things, right? Like I'm trying, okay? I haven't become a minimalist. I haven't achieved this like magic that Minimalise has achieved, or maybe like A to Zen Life, Marissa, or the Minimal Mom. Like all of those people have achieved something, right? And it has genuinely helped them. And I think that's amazing, and I think it's great. But I also think that there is a lot of room for us to try and better understand that anxiety is a very real issue. Depression is a very real issue. Living in the world that we are living in today is a very real issue, okay? I mean, politically, sure, like some of us are really struggling, but also, all of that aside, like let's pretend that, World War III is not looming over our heads, right? Like let's pretend that's not the issue. Even before that concern popped up, our society in the Western world is wild. Like, we are exposed to so much advertising all day long, every single day. We have these addictive electronic devices in our hands or our pockets 24/7. We like they're designed to be addictive and to suck us in, right? Everything about a phone, a smartphone, is designed to be addictive. Um, and so we're detaching, some of us, from our real lives, right? We're zoning out. We are losing out on meaningful connection with real people who are right in front of us, because it is easier 9 times out of 10 to disappear into your phone. It is more seductive to disappear into your phone or some other technology, video game, whatever, because there is a lot less potential for conflict. There's a lot less potential for somebody saying something you don't like, somebody saying something hurtful, having to put in real effort and work into a relationship. And so it is much easier to disconnect, right? And while we are disconnecting, we're being exposed to all of these images of lives of other people that seem amazing and like we should be having them. So then we feel sad and we feel upset with our own lives. And then we see advertisements for products that are promising to make things better and help us to feel better. And so we buy them because it only takes one click and our credit card is already attached to our phone. So it's really easy. And now here we are in this mess where we have debt, where we have clutter, where we are disconnected from others and from nature and real life. And we're doing basic tasks like what I'm doing here, right? Cleaning, doing dishes, taking care of my children. I'm about to do some meal prep as well, some cooking. Those tasks are super boring, right? Hi, Willow. Hi, Archie. Those tasks are really boring. They're not stimulating. Um, and so even though they're good for us, right? They are critical to our success as humans. Um, they're not fun, and so we avoid them. And so there's this whole perfect storm. Yes, here I am prepping my sweet potatoes for the week. But yeah, there's this whole perfect storm where we are distracted, we are disconnected, we are tempted by products, we are tempted by quick fixes and quick dopamine hits. We are told to be dissatisfied with our lives. Um, we're not as active physically as our ancestors were. And there is just so much going on in our society that for people to be minimalists or to be living their lives in a mindful way, to be living their lives in a connected, community focused way, um, to be satisfied, to be content, to be at peace. Holy Moses, like that is a real challenge. That is a real hill to climb. Okay. So when somebody says, like, oh, you should just, whatever, insert advice here, I get so frustrated because it's always more nuanced, it's always more complex, it is always not black and white, right? It's never as easy as just like, oh, well, if you just do this, it'll solve your problems. Okay. So if anybody on here, and my my channel would probably be a lot more popular, like I'd probably be making a lot more money if I just made those videos for you, like, oh, 5 easy ways to blah blah blah, like, or top 10 ways to do this, or here's the best way to feel better, here's the way to beat depression, here's, do this and you'll beat anxiety. Like, I could probably be, a full-time YouTuber if I could give you those answers, right? And a lot of people try to give those answers here. Um, I'm guilty of watching them myself. I'm like, oh, maybe this person, random internet guy, has the answer. Or, I mean, shit, I am subscribed to Minimal Ease. I'm subscribed to A to Zen Life. I am subscribed to, um, you know, Dana K. White and Minimal Mom and all of these people, right? Like, I want to know what their secrets are. I want to improve my life, right? Like, I want to move closer towards those answers, and to become more of a minimalist, to have less inventory to worry about in my life, right? Um, I do believe that that would bring me more peace and more satisfaction. But I do think it's dangerous when people start claiming that that is the answer, right? The solution, the full picture. And that if you just throw everything out, if you just donate everything, if you just give your kids a more, streamlined space with fewer things, that it will fix all of your problems. Um, then that's where I take issue. Like, that's where it's like, oh, like, sure, yes, you can take the mess away, but if you are not also at the same time working on other aspects of yourself, like your mental health, like your impulsivity, your spending habits, the amount of time that you spend on social media, the amount of time that you allow yourself to look at your phone each day, the amount of time that you are avoiding hard conversations with your spouse or your children. If you're not also addressing those issues, then it really doesn't matter how many or how few items you own in your home. Um, it really doesn't matter. That's really not that's really not the whole solution. It is a multi-pronged approach. And it is hard to have all of those balls in the air at the same time. I have tried. You saw me last year try really hard to keep the house tidy, to start a business, to grow that business, to grow and be consistent with my YouTube channel, to lose weight and get healthy and be more active, to be a better mom, to be a decent wife, like to try and have friendships, right? Like, all of those balls in the air at the same time, something will fall. Like, you're gonna be dropping those balls and having to pick them up one at a time. And I think what happened to me at the beginning of this year, right? Like, pretty much all of January and February, is I burnt myself to a crisp this past year. And so in January and February, I just stopped. I stopped being intentional. Like, I still tried to keep the house up. I still tried to, be a decent human with my family. I still am growing my business, right? But YouTube, I don't know, YouTube has struggled, right? I happen to have one very popular video, but everything else has been a challenge. Um, my weight loss journey completely ground to a halt, and I just started eating whatever and I stopped walking. And to keep everything balanced is a huge, 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 huge challenge. And I think to simplify it into an 11 or 10-minute video where you say uh, that mom's normalizing normal is dangerous and becoming a minimalist is the solution to all life's problems. I think that's I think that's funny, right? I mean, good for her. She's more successful than me. Maybe that's what people want to hear. I don't know. Um, maybe that is the solution. And I'm just resisting it because it sounds hard. Who knows? But anyway, those are my thoughts, guys. That's what I think. I think life is complex. The times we are living in are challenging, and depression is real, and anxiety is real, and chaos is real. And I really wish that throwing everything away would fix my life, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it and see. Maybe I'll prove myself wrong. So let's see. Who knows, guys? Should I comment below? Should I throw everything away and see if it fixes my life? If yes, let me know, and if not, let me know that too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. I appreciate your continued support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.